All right, and welcome to the Medium Rare Podcast, where the thoughts are half cooked and the conversation's well done. I'm your host, Brett Owens. With me today is Alex D. Toronto.
Still here.
Sahil Gulani.
Yep.
On his phone. And Tucker Moss.
He said, yeah, he took my word.
Say it again.
I'm not going to say it. Hello, I am here today.
You are. All right. Well, today we wanted to get into some, our topics today is horror films. That took me really long to get to.
All good.
Okay. So,
Any stories?
any stories this week, though? You guys, before we get started?
I got one.
Okay.
I didn't get to
Go
share
for
my
it.
other one last
I've got
week.
one, too.
So I was hanging out with my mom this week, and we were talking.
You're hanging out with your mom.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my mom, like as you do.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we went
That's
to.
the story.
I went to sports. We were talking about the fact that my dad, he goes to certain places and he has to take the deuce. You know,
In
Dad
public?
pooped in a public bathroom.
But it's certain places like libraries.
Gross.
He'll be like, we'll walk in and he'll be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom.
He's just as soon any other place that isn't home. Oh man, I'm feeling it.
No, it's only certain places. That's what's funny, and it's like these same certain places. It's always libraries. Even if he goes to the bathroom before he goes to a library, he has to poop in a library. He has to mark the territory.
Library bathrooms are clean.
Yeah, and they smell good.
Yeah.
He goes to the library all the time?
No. But when he does, he has to take a dump. See? Okay. It's
Smells like dead hopes and dreams.
Smells like knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
But specifically, one is a Sports Authority, and this has happened on multiple occasions. But this is a specific instance that was amazing. Okay. So we go into Sports Authority, and he's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. As usual. Yes.
It always starts the same, and then you know.
Yes, exactly.
Father.
And he says, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. He takes off, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna be in there for a while. And then we finish shopping or whatever, and then we come back, and we're leaving, and then we just see him dart out of the bathroom, running towards us like, let's go. And I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, let's go. I'll tell you outside. And we go outside, and he's like, the toilet's overflowing.
Your dad moved that fast?
Yes. And this has happened more than once, the exact same way. Go.
He's full of
Does he
shit.
not just hold it down? Does he not just hold it down, though?
No, I don't know. It
He just clicks it once.
That doesn't always work.
Just imagining your dad just running, and there's a water pouring.
That's what I'm. Get out.
We gotta go. Just one turd
he's
falling
running.
in the wave just coming at me.
He's running like it's Indiana Jones or something from the big rock.
It's like Deep Blue Sea or something.
You guys
Is that it?
Yeah, you guys have any stories?
Dude, I got another bathroom story from my work because my job's a joke.
Yeah. Is
No.
that same guy still in there?
Nope,
He's
this
still
was
in
a
there.
whole other guy. He hasn't left. The guy from last week, he never left. No, he actually did keep doing the thing on his phone though.
Playing
Really
music.
annoying.
What a prick.
Yep.
Bless.
No, there was a guy. He was a new guy, and I told you this. I told you this
yes,
story.
you did.
This guy came in the bathroom, and I know who he was because he was next to me. So when he dropped his pants, I saw his name tag like attached to his pants
James.
clip.
Right.
No, not James.
What was it?
Say his name.
No, he sits down. He sits down, and I just hear,
Ooh, is he old?
Oh.
Never mind.
and I was like, I sat there, and I was just getting so mad.
Oh.
He's
And he-
right next to you? Like
After
right next
I was
to
like,
you?
if he does it one more time, I'm gonna say something. And he goes, and I was like,
Hey!
I said, hey man, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, what? And I was like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I'm going to the bathroom, man.
And keep yelling, let me
And
finish.
I was like, all right, well then keep it that way. And I left. Come to find out, he got expelled from his flight academy school because he was jerking off in the bathroom.
When nature calls. When nature calls.
I have a I don't want to tell the story, but I had
No, you go ahead and tell that story. I
Yeah,
think
I
it
wanna
needs
hear
to
it.
be
I don't want to
said.
tell it in detail, but I was at the gym
Oh.
Yeah, I don't frequent the gym much, but I mean, I do now, but
Bro, you do.
I just started then.
Cute ass.
But I was in the bathroom doing my business, and these are walled stalls, but you have like a
The good kind.
good walled stalls.
He's
You know,
at
you
an
can't see their
expensive-
legs.
Yeah, at a commercial gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
But
Sponsor.
Exactly. Please sponsor us.
Any commercial gym.
But through the doors, like you can still hear everything. It's still open, ventilated, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I can hear this dude pull out lotion and squeeze it in his hand. Like you can hear.
You just hear it goes up.
He's pumping it.
Just so much lotion.
Not the only thing he was pumping. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sure he had his headphones in and couldn't hear himself. But I am not that alpha like Brett. I'm not alpha enough to just scream at the
Dude,
dude in the next
Don't
stall.
jerk off next to me and I won't say anything to
I
you,
know,
man.
I understand that.
You got a point.
I should be on that level, but I'm not. So instead I texted in the group messages and I said, guys, I'm stuck. I can't leave because then he'll know I'm
we
here.
were all involved in this scenario.
And Brett's like yelling at him
I'm
over
like,
text. He's
yeah,
like, just tell him.
I'm all caps. I'm going all caps. Like, dog, say something to him. This is making me mad that it's happening to you.
And I'm trapped. I just felt. And
I wanted to come to the gym and just kick through his door like, hey, my man is right next to you, dog. Stop. I'm hearing all about this.
I didn't want him to know I was there, so I just waited until he finished, and then I left after he left.
Oh,
Right
you're
behind
filthy.
him. He got secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
He just kicks it open and look at him. He's actually just like covered his whole body
so
in lotion.
slick.
He's like, he's really ashy.
He's so
all
slick,
over his
dude.
knees.
You just brush
Trying
past
to
him.
grab me. He's like, he's sliding through everybody.
As someone who's worked at a commercial gym, I know, especially a lot of the older population tends to get real touchy-feely with themselves.
Stomp their shit into the toilet or into the drain
They
in the shower.
shit in their showers so much.
and
Wait,
they
what?
try, yeah, and
I've- yeah.
they like cram it into
Yeah,
the
they waffle
drain.
stomp it. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
He's cleaned up more poop out of that gym than anyone else that's ever worked
Are
there.
you kidding? That's
Back when he
disgusting.
worked there,
Saturday
I heard about
shifts are poop shifts.
I had
Yeah.
to do that on Black
They
Friday.
feel a little bit more free on the weekends.
I was just like, I went to shower one time after I got done working out, and I just saw this piece of shit just laying there. I was like,
the guy or the actual?
No, the actual
his remnant, a piece of shit's piece of shit.
a part
A
of
turd
him.
in the
A
shower.
part of him was still there.
Man,
His DNA.
I no.
Oh god, Tucker, you got any poop or masturbation stories to tell us?
No, sorry, I can't contribute to that. But I do have something from work when I was at one of the restaurants that I'll hang out with whenever it's kind of slow at work. Me and one of the cooks are in the back. I don't really even know what brought the conversation about. I think we were making fun of people that believe in like flat Earth stuff. But we came up, we came up with
Shout
a
out
new,
to flat earthers.
Yes.
Shout out if you listen to the show.
Shout
Thanks.
Keep doing
You
what
guys
you're
got
doing.
members around the globe.
Are all around it.
Say that slowly.
All around the globe.
But so the theory is that instead of the Earth being flat horizontally, the Earth is actually flat
Vertically.
vertical. Hear me out. Hear me out.
You starting to believe it?
So you know how? No, I don't believe it at all. At first, I was like, it sounds kind of cool,
Huh?
but then I kind of disproved it, which I'll go into that too. I just think it was
the
really
North
funny.
Pole just balances on that flat surface at
Yep.
the top.
Yep.
But look, here's what happens. Okay, so you know how like when you spin a coin, it looks like a globe, like it looks like a ball, right? The Earth spins. I think the Earth spins like over 1,000 something miles per hour.
Oh, so we look like a.
So the Earth is actually just spinning, so it's like a coin. So it looks like it's
makes me mad.
it's a globe.
I don't like this.
That means though that the surface that we see from satellites is the little sliver of the Earth.
You can't
it's
see
like
it.
the
It's like
side
the
of the
motion.
coin.
It's like the motion
No,
where
wouldn't it be
something's
like-
spinning.
The side.
Yeah, the actual like thin millimeter long side.
Hey man, stop.
Okay.
Yeah, that ain't it, chief.
So we
This
were
ain't it,
we
Chief.
were talking about it. We were talking about it, and I didn't really believe it, but I felt like he was getting real into it. Like
I've
believing.
had conspiracy conversations with people where they're never
You just
mind. Go
open
ahead.
the other eye, just go.
Yeah, no.
like-
they start talking about it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I
I
respected you at one point.
I don't really know if he was joking, but he really got real into it for a second. I was like, well, let me think about it, how to disprove it, because that's how think of a theory. How can you disprove it? And if you can't disprove it, then maybe there's something there. But I tried to think about it. I was like, okay, well look, so if you're spinning it and you see, because we revolve around the sun, right?
Right.
So the sun would be in one spot, and every time we spin, it would be like almost like a flash of light.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But not so fast that it's constant. Sorry, I disproved your theory. Go ahead. Sucker's broken.
Science.
Wow.
Concussion speaking.
Noise machine broke.
That was.
All right.
I don't know that.
I don't have anything to say.
I don't know. You just.
You're welcome.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Then maybe it is. Maybe we are just a flat, vertically shaped thing
I
spinning.
don't think so, but go ahead.
No, I don't think so either. But maybe now you just proved what I thought.
Is that it? Are we done?
That was what happened, and that was what happened at work.
And that's the story of my week.
And that's the final truth.
Oh man. Okay, listen, and I get it. Last week I read that creepypasta like the kid that you call on in class on purpose that can't read. I got it. All right?
That's such a terrible thing
Got
to do.
plenty of comments about it. Anyways,
My story, but
you got a story,
yeah.
Sue?
I used to talk to this girl like 2 years ago,
Nice.
and
Sweet dude.
yeah, hey, and like things ended like 3 weeks later. That's how it be.
That's sad.
And things were heated with this person, so shit was rolling.
Okay.
And I recently reconnected with her, and she offered to send pictures of herself, and I was like,
Wow.
she was like,
Okay, now.
do you want pics? And I was like, as someone who is like all about titties, I was like, okay. And she said, okay, here's my PayPal. I was like, what?
I did not think this is where this was going.
And I was like,
M. Night Shyamalan,
So did you
man.
give her money then?
no,
My man. I didn't know. I was checking.
I'm not even about that pic life, but like, if you gonna show me some titties, like, I'm not gonna
For
say
free.
no.
I'll give you my
Paying
attention.
for it.
But I think that's her way of making a living right now, so that's pretty cool.
That's dope, man.
You
Shout
gotta.
out.
I mean, you
Classy
gotta do what
broad.
you gotta do.
To each his own, really.
Her own.
But that's, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
queen.
That's she on that entrepreneurial type
That's
shit.
a vibe.
So this week we want to replace our news segment with some ghost stories. You guys have any ghost stories?
I have one.
Go for it.
Okay, so in all the rest, one of my good friends on it, which I'm friends with most of all
At-
the guys in the band,
Add all of the rest music.
Add all
Thank
the
you
rest
for-
music.
Thank you for our jingle.
Appreciate you guys.
Judd, who was one of my first friends whenever I had moved into the neighborhood that was close to where he lived. One day, I think I was actually. Okay, oh my god. One day.
Oh, we had paused. Go ahead.
One day, we were coming back from this like lake that he has that's behind their house, and we had the two. He at the time he had 3 dogs, or actually he only had 2 dogs, and one was a big dog and named Rat Skulls, which metal, and then like Rat Skulls, and then the other one was Sam. He's a little like weenie dog, and they had ran ahead of us, and we were on the golf cart going by. And then all of a sudden, there was just this like strange, like creature thing that had like zoom. I'm not even making this up.
A creature?
Like, it looked like a dog. It looked like it could have been their dog Rat Skulls, but it just zoomed by, and we could see like really like clearly that something just ran by us. It was going like so fast, and no, that like the dogs usually, if it was like a coyote, because they. Where we live, the coyotes are kind of normal. They know when like coyotes and stuff are around because they'll like bark at them or whatever. It was just like completely silent, just zoom like right by us and just like faded through into the dark. And me and Judd like both looked at each other and we were like, "What was that?"
Ooh.
And then I have a second part. That was a little short, but another little spooky thing that's happened. It's also with Judd. One time he said that he was coming over to my house and he saw this like dark figure in my front yard. Walking towards my house.
Your
like-
house and Judd's house are both terrifying at night.
Yeah. Because we have a big tree in our yard that has like a long like branch hanging off of it, and the land that my house used to be on used to be like a
Slave. Isn't it like a slave holding land?
Yeah, it would, like, there used to be slaves on the land that my house is on, like, years ago. And, like, the guy that used to own the land before us said that, like, his great-grandparents told him, like, in our tree in our front yard was where they had people that got hung at. And so whenever Judd told me about this story of this dark figure, like, walking through my yard, like real tall, black cloak kind of style, like walking towards our front door. And when he went around the tree and saw back, it was just gone. Like, it had just walked towards the house and it was just gone. And then after that, though, he hadn't heard anything, like, or he hasn't seen anything. I haven't never really seen anything, but
Dang.
it's always creepy upstairs at my house at night. I don't like being alone. I always shut my door. If my door's open, it's like very uneasy.
I've got a couple of scary stories, ghost stories too. Like, my neighborhood is pretty close to Tucker, or my parents' neighborhood is pretty close to Tucker. This is when I was a kid.
Out there in the very rural area.
Yeah, it was. There's an
Sticks.
old Confederate graveyard that's like right behind our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Them racist ghosts, you know what I'm saying?
They would not like
Shout
that.
out your haircut.
Shout out
Don't
to
go
my
walk
haircut.
in that graveyard. You can get haunted.
I've been in that graveyard, and there's a lot of like porno mags out there.
Oh God!
Yeah.
That's not spooky.
Yep.
Like post it
Why?
up. Next.
Why? The haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you look like you could be one of them.
No, don't play like that. Anyways, me and my buddy were sitting outside of my house, and on my street, there's one street lamp in the middle, and then one on each end of the street. And so we were just sitting down on like one of those drainage things where the water drains into.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there, and this guy came up from me and him lived on either side of this house that was in the middle of us.
Oh my
God, that
God.
one scared me. It was very loud.
I thought it was a ringtone. Can you turn that down a little bit? Dear Lord.
No, but so the house in the middle, some figure came out, and there was literally a light in the middle. It was like a body, and it looked like he was wearing like a cave light, like with that light that you wear in your head.
Headlamp.
He walked out from behind that house that is in between us, and we were like, Brandon, because that's the guy who lived there, and we were like, Brandon, is that you? And he turned, and the light shined in our face, and then he turned his head back, and he just kept walking straight. And he was like a few feet away from us, so I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was a ghost, if it was a person, but it was terrifying.
Just a coal miner.
He said,
yeah.
"My name is Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Who are you?
Hey, there's a dead meme.
My name is Jeff."
Yeah, it's just a
Dead
coal
meme.
miner. He just was mining coal in the middle of this like rural dirt area.
I've been looking for coal.
I can't find coal anywhere. No, but there's that guy, and then I don't know if well, okay, my buddy, he lives in a trailer out in the backwoods in Georgia, and
Yeah.
Backwoods.
The sticks.
Georgia Clay.
Yeah, country music.
But he lives.
Okay, we're good.
Sorry, that was so
anyway,
loud. I'm sorry.
So a woman, a woman killed herself in the bathroom of that trailer.
Oh wow, that is a dark twist.
Yeah. Yep. And then another guy moved in after that happened, and he killed himself in the front yard. Himself. Amen.
Kill.
He double kill.
That house has a kill streak.
So
going.
anyway,
happening.
we were spending the night at his house one time for some reason, and my buddy Thomas slept in the room that's adjacent to the bathroom where the woman killed herself. And he said he was laying on the couch, and he felt like somebody was just staring at him. He was just laying there, and he could feel it, and like it was he woke up and he looked, and he just closed the bathroom door and then closed his door, and he felt fine. So I don't know, that wasn't like he didn't see anything, but it was just kind of a creepy story.
Still a little spooky.
I got a
Yeah.
real spooky one.
Go for it.
Okay. That was scary. Kill Street, by the way.
Kill Street.
Shout out.
that
that
house.
KD.
Shout out to the house.
That KD. Going strong.
That house.
Okay.
This is so. This
we go.
podcast is a joke, dude.
Let someone pick us
Okay,
up.
so
Sounds kind of happy.
this
No,
Yeah.
there it goes.
That's spooky.
It went down.
this happened a couple years ago, probably. I was in Jesse's basement. This is back when we kind of lived together, kind of for like a summer.
Which at
No,
his parents'
yeah, his parents' basement. Yeah. Okay.
Can you come and say it into the mic?
Okay.
Okay.
Jesse's gonna come tell a story after this. So being down in the basement, it's kind of, it's fine. There's a lot of people usually, but at night, when everyone falls asleep, it's a little creepy deaky, I guess. Can be. But it was pitch black, which is really unusual for being in the basement. And I'm laying on the couch, and I fall asleep with my clothes on all the time when I was over there. And so
Yeah, I wouldn't get naked there.
all of a sudden I just like all my clothes on, like a jacket. And so I wake up and I just feel like these claws in my chest. And I was like I could not breathe because I was like so scared. And like I felt like there was this weight on my stomach and my chest.
You were going into cardiac.
And there was,
arrest.
that's what I was thinking, no. And the claws were like retracting and going back into my chest. And
I'm
then-
having a heart attack. I'm
Pulling-
having a heart.
But it was it wasn't like a deep pain. It was just like on my skin, and it was like clawing and let go, claw and let go, right
Like
here
a
on my
cat
chest.
kneading or whatever it's called.
It was probably
So-
just their
Yeah,
So
just
the
their
floodlight
cat.
turns on, and it's Brahms laying on my
Oh
chest,
my
and he's so
God.
fat that I couldn't breathe.
He is fat.
This is not scary.
Oh, so it's not a ghost story.
No, it wasn't. But then it was his actual claws in my heart
Oh,
because he was so cute.
Next.
God.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jesse, come
Yeah,
on.
here
in
you can sit right here.
I thought it was an actual story because there's something creepy about that house.
The pedophile that used to live there.
Well, that too, but
Oh, not just that. Okay.
so before
That's a-
we moved in, it was like a bunch of like younger, like probably 20 somethings lived in that
Please turn off
house.
the music. I can't deal with it anymore.
Like 20 somethings lived in that house, and they all split like the rent and stuff,
Yeah.
or whatever the monthly payment. And I believe it was in Sammy's room, or what used to be his room. What is that music? It's like
It's like
organs.
a theme song.
Dude, that's legit. That's like Transylvania 3, the Adam Sandler animated movie.
So anyway, long story short, one of the younger gentlemen committed suicide down in Sammy's room.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Wait,
I
Sammy's
don't
old
like going
room?
in there.
So your old room then?
my old
Oh,
room, Sammy's old room. Yeah, that's it.
That was it?
Well,
You
we
never saw
just
anything?
well, no, I mean, I never saw anything or really felt anything weird.
I never did either.
I don't like going into Sammy's room.
I mean, it smells
Like in
there.
that back.
Well, that's because
That
it's
too.
Sammy's.
Say-
Like, not in that main part, but like his actual room. Like
Yeah,
dark
the back
dark.
part in there.
The dark,
Really?
dark.
It was the dark room.
We
The dark room.
well, we
There's no
definitely
windows.
we definitely prayed over it
Yeah, that's
because that's creepy.
How did they
It is
kill
spooky.
themselves?
It was an OD.
Oh,
Oh, it's not
intentional
like
then?
spooky,
Do we
though.
know?
Did you say it's not spooky?
Not as spooky. Like if someone shoots themselves or hangs themselves in there.
Tucker, chill.
I know. I'm just
No,
saying.
it's-
It's
I
not
feel
as
like it's
spooky.
more
It's
sad
still sad.
when
It's
with
more
an
sad
OD.
than spooky.
ODing is really like, or
Yeah.
it's like painful according to some accounts.
Yeah.
Like, because your liver just like it's set on
Shuts
fire. Like
down.
it's so inflamed. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a really
I
painful
thought
one.
you actually felt something.
No,
It was just
absolutely
my
not.
cat.
You were like,
All
actually,
right.
it may have been the guy, and then you were like, nope, it's just your cat. Oops.
Could you
That
imagine
is-
being posted up in a room and like your pants start coming off slowly?
The lights turn on. It's just Brahms.
Well, I thought that
No,
you were
the
gonna. I thought that you were gonna say that you had all of your clothes on, and then I woke up and I didn't have any clothes on.
and Jesse was wearing them.
Jesse's just wearing.
And
your
my
clothes.
hands were tied behind my back,
pig tied.
and my hair was gone.
I
All
had
of
my
it.
hair. It was gone.
My hair was gone.
Okay, so are we done with?
Do you have one?
You got
Yeah.
one? Go
Is
for
it good? Is it spooky?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Spook,
So
spook me.
okay, so I'm at my buddy Will's house.
Hey, shout out Will.
Yeah, shout out Will. And like a bunch of dumbass teenagers, me and Jake and Will are going over next door to the the under construction house. And first, we were just booling in the empty pool
Yeah.
because ain't no water in there.
Skate.
And we go all the way upstairs into the master bedroom, and in the closet of the master bedroom, and we go inside this house, and there's like, it's under construction, so there's no light fixtures or anything, and there's no windows in the closet of this master bedroom.
Right.
And I went in there with 50% battery, and this is only like a 20-minute span.
Mm-hmm.
We left home with like, I had 50, Jake had 30, Will had 10. Will's phone died, so we're using Jake and I's flashlights.
Yeah.
Shout out to flashlights.
On God.
Yeah.
They help.
And so Jake's flashlight went out too, which is weird because he had like 30% battery. We knew Will's phone was going to die.
Shout out iPhone 4s.
Shout out to that battery life. As soon as you open Snapchat on 50%,
Shout out,
it
shout out
dies.
Steve
Dead.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Shout
yeah,
out.
Home Alone, my
Rest in
boy's
peace.
dead.
Waz.
Rest in peace.
Shout out Woz. Shout out Apple.
On God.
Go ahead.
Fuck Android. But no, kind of.
Sorry, Jesse.
Sponsor us.
So we're there in the closet, and I'm still using my last flashlight, and like I have like 40 like something percent, and my phone dies. And so we're in this pitch black closet of
Bro,
a huge house.
Your battery was just swollen.
No, like we were convinced that there were ghosts in that house. Like, and so we had to all hold on to each other.
iPhone machine broke.
Yep. And like we walked out of this house, and like it took us at least 30 minutes to get out of this house.
Oh, yeah, because it's pitch black. There's no light.
Pitch black.
Because it's a construction home. I've been in the same kind of predicament.
Yeah, and I don't know. We were convinced because we
Horrifying.
kept on hearing it's
I'm going
like
to stop the music. Sorry. It's
like the
getting late.
door, like the downstairs door was just like creaking, and we were just convinced that that house was haunted.
I mean, it was probably just settling too because it was under construction and whatnot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And it could be
Maybe-
animals because there's no
maybe.
windows.
but my battery
maybe.
dying.
I mean, your
That
battery.
is a little
iPhone-
freaky, though.
iPhone
They say
4 life.
spirits take energy.
They do say that.
They need to be
I'm just
charged.
saying,
Like
you
Red
ever
Bull?
watched Ghost Hunters?
Yeah, but the way you said that. Y'all
You ever
watch
wa-
Ghost Adventures?
Y'all watch Ghost Adventures? They take their
They're
batteries.
just,
Just take
floating
Because they're so
batteries.
Give them back.
expensive.
Give me back my battery.
Dang it, ghosts.
Always
Okay.
stealing them.
All right. Well, this week's topic is horror movies.
Hey.
So
Shout out the worst genre in existence.
True.
Not true.
True.
Not
Get off the film. Get off of the
True.
set.
He not wrong.
All right.
Get
Well,
him out of here.
some might contest that mine isn't a horror film, but I beg to differ
What is
because Jaws is the
It's-
only movie that I've ever watched where I'm afraid of the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still afraid of the
It's
ocean.
considered a horror movie to me.
I think
Never
I
been.
think
I never
everyone-
watched Jaws, and I still am scared.
Yeah, I
of
think
the
it is.
ocean.
So
It's a romantic comedy. It's about a man and his shark. No. So
Love you. The shark just eats him. The end.
is released in 1975 based on the novel published in, or it was, yeah, based on the novel that was published in 1974. The film was nicknamed, get ready for this, Flaws.
Wow.
Because it had a lot of problems behind the scenes.
Bazinga.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
couldn't
get
see
it
on
because
screen.
it rhymes with Jaws.
Okay.
Oh.
Every good joke deserves an explanation.
Creative.
It was supposed to take 2 months to film it, but it took them 7 months. And so they built a shark. Their animatronic sharks at first weren't working properly.
Because they're in
And
the water, right?
I wish I could have been there. Well, no, it worked in water. It didn't work in salt water. They thought that they were gonna film it in like the pools or whatever. And I wish I could have been there where they were like, so it works. And he's like, yeah. Does it work in salt water? Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, it works in normal water. What's the difference?
They put it in the ocean and it sunk to the bottom of the ocean. So they had to pay a bunch of people to go down and
They
salvage
just
it.
like sat. It's like, oh, wait,
Wait, hold on, sorry, grab it.
wait,
Grab it.
and there she goes.
The shark was not the only thing that sank. The boat,
Hopes and dreams.
the orca, the boat actually sank when it wasn't supposed to. Like it sinks in the film, but it sank when it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
It started sinking, and that included like all their camera and film that was on board, all their cameras. And this is like old film, but it was like they had laced all of their film with like some sort of silicone coating. Do you know anything about that?
They
Jesse?
probably need to just because of the fact that they're going to be out there in
Right.
salt water. And
So
there's
they
so
were-
much humidity.
Yeah, so they were able to salvage like all of it.
That's good.
They were able to get it shipped out and they were
Drag.
able to get
Definitely
it
not
all.
the cameras though. They're
No, the cameras.
deuced.
Oh
They
well,
gone.
yeah, the cameras. I don't remember if they said anything about the cameras in the stuff that I saw. But anyway, let's see. It was made mostly in Martha's Vineyard. He chose that location because you could go out into the ocean, and in any direction you turn the camera, there was no land to be seen because obviously it would look better if.
They're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it would look better if there was no well,
Beach.
they can't just turn around and go back to land and they'd be okay. They wanted it to be more like an isolated incident.
Hey, wait, what is that land behind us? Well, just leave.
Who needs this shark? So Peter Benchley, the guy that wrote the book, he plays the reporter on the news station that's reporting like the shark killings and stuff.
That's an
He
interesting
butted. My notes said he butted heads. He butted heads.
point. He buttered his heads with the other guy.
He butted heads with Spielberg on the ending and a lot of the other details during production, which just made everything more difficult.
Right.
They nicknamed the shark Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer, which is where we get Bruce in Finding Nemo.
I did
the
not
Great
know
White.
that. That's awesome.
Yep. They also named it the Great White Turd because
Nice.
all of their animatronics were so
Bad.
hard to maneuver in the water.
call
They
them
had a lot of
turds.
like, they had like one where they had, so the boat was in the center of these four animatronics, and they had like the head on one end, and then for some of the swimming shots, they had two different sides of the shark pieces on the sides,
Right.
and then the tail on the back end, so that they could film different things. But like there was one point where, you know, the part where the barrel, they tie the barrel up and the shark swims off with the barrel.
Right.
It's because they didn't have an animatronic piece that was working that day. So they had to have something. So they decided, let's just have a scene where they tie a barrel up to it and they show like the strength and speed of this shark. Which nowadays, if they were to do it with digital effects, they would have never come up with that solution.
Yeah.
There would have never been that scene. So I thought that was super cool. Let's see. Robert Shaw, the guy that plays the captain of the Orca. Sorry for the traffic sounds if you can hear it. He was notorious for being like a big partier. He drank a lot. So
In the movie too, right?
yeah, well, that's another thing. He actually had alcohol in his cup.
Hey, come here, shark. I won't fight.
Hey, man, you better get over here.
So a bit of method
Bird.
acting went into that.
Yeah. No, but so they actually hired a PA to babysit him to keep him from drinking.
That was their job.
So his
Don't
solution was I'm gonna take this PA with me to go drink some more. The PA goes and gets drunk with him.
Hey.
You want something to drink? I mean,
We're already here. No, well, so they go and get drunk, and then the big speech at the end of right before the ship sinks, and like the big climax of
Right.
the scene where he's like really intense speech, he's blackout drunk through that entire speech, and he's drinking whiskey in his cup as he's telling the speech. And the next day he was like, hey man, I don't remember anything that happened. Can we do that again? And so they filmed the whole speech again, and they spliced together mixtures of both speeches. So it's like there's
can
pieces.
tell?
You can tell if you watch it, his eyes are glazed over in parts. And then it'll cut to reaction shots back to him, and his eyes aren't glazed
They're
over, and
just
he's
normal.
fine. Yeah, he's somewhat sober.
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
still got whiskey in that cup.
But yeah, so that was, I mean, everybody knows about Jaws, so I just wanted to get into like the meat of all the problems that they had. And thinking about like nowadays with like media and everybody going in on all these movies that are having problems, if this movie was getting made now, there would
tear it apart.
Yeah, people probably wouldn't go see it just thinking that it would be so bad.
Right.
But also, much like Jaws 2 and 3D, it would have not made any money. Anyway, I got most of my stuff from Cinefix. It was really the only thing that I got anything from was Cinefix. We'll have the link in the description below. And then Wikipedia Jaws. The Wikipedia Jaws page.
One thing with it though, with the animatronics, so with it being 1975, like for the size of it, is that one of like the first like really big like feats of for cinematics. You use,
In the
like,
water, I think.
especially in the water.
I don't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the biggest because, like I said, their animatronic wasn't one big piece. It was
multiple pieces,
Like
of
the
it,
tail, the
and
fin.
none of them
Well,
worked.
I guess first in the water ever. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't.
I guess. Yeah. I
truth
don't know.
be
I
told-
didn't look into it.
I've never seen Jaws.
What?
Me either.
I was gonna say I haven't seen Jaws before.
How? That's one of the best movies ever made.
Well, I was
I don't like sharks.
God, you're.
I don't like sharks.
Well,
So-
And I
the
don't like
reason
the
you
ocean.
don't. I think the reason you don't like sharks is
is
because,
because
of,
of Jaws.
yeah, the culture shock that Jaws had
100%.
on the nation.
Our producer is leaving.
Kyle leaves.
Not just I don't know.
That's why I feel like there wasn't really that big of like a stop at like sharks, and like not many people were opposed to it until after Jaws came out.
They're
and
like,
there's
whoa, this is scary.
this nationwide stigma on sharks in
being
general.
bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because really, sharks in real life aren't that bad.
Yeah, there's not that many attacks. Like you're way more likely to die in a car accident
crash
or
or
get
something.
struck by lightning. I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah.
So.
You're more like.
I think what's funny though too is that he had all those problems on set. Shark,
Yeah.
water, and then he went on to do Jurassic Park, and that
And all those
T-Rex-
animatronics.
well,
He
the
learned-
T-Rex scene with the rain, it still had problems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was freshwater, not saltwater.
Now I will say I have seen Jurassic Park, so don't get me on that. I have seen that one.
That's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
haven't
The
seen Jaws.
producers of Jaws said that if they had read the book a second time, they would have never greenlit the film just because they knew they would have known how difficult it would have been.
Why did we do this?
Yeah, literally took them over three times as long as they originally planned.
So
All in the sun, all in the water. It's
Yeah.
terrible, dude. It's
Do you
brutal
know
stuff.
how much it cost to do the film?
I don't remember how much it cost for them to make. It was a lot more than they intended.
Especially
But
for
they
how
But
long.
it grossed a lot of money.
Especially
a lot
for the
of money.
time.
Yeah, a whole bunch of money. Well, I mean, at the time, like movies didn't come out back then like they do now.
Yeah, Spielberg was
literally
like getting into his prime.
Every 2 weeks, you got a new movie in theaters.
It cost $7 million, is what I'm hearing.
Nice.
And how, do you know how much they grossed? Okay,
we're
we're gonna find out.
yeah, we're gonna find out.
Also,
For you.
fun fact: you're most likely out of any mode of transportation, you're most likely to die on a train. If you didn't know that, isn't that
Really?
crazy? Yeah,
That
Like
doesn't-
die on a train or by a train?
both.
Like get hit by? You're just like
like-
on a
so,
train.
like,
and you're just like,
hit by a car, like hit by a train, that type of thing. Like train related injuries and deaths are highest.
bonk your head on a train.
Okay, so it cost $7 million to make, and it grossed $470 million, and that's in the 70s.
at the 70. Oh,
Yeah.
woo,
in
that's a lot
70s
of
money.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
You could probably just times it by like another half, and that's probably close to $1 billion. With inflation, that's my guess. With inflation, you could
Well,
probably get
that-
it half.
that
Or
could be with
actually double it.
inflation.
Probably.
Yeah.
That could be with
Is that
inflation.
yeah? Is that with inflation or is that
No, that's
at the
1970s
time?
money.
yeah.
Okay.
70s money. Ooh.
You can do, why do you even do another movie?
Because it made so much. I mean,
like-
two ended up making a good bit of money. It was just a terrible movie.
They probably had a higher budget too.
At
A way higher
Sharknado.
budget. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go ahead, Sahil, or
Yeah, let's
Okay.
move on. I did one of the worst movies in existence. Close second to Dude, Where's My Car?
that's a great movie.
Sure. This was Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Dude, Where's My Car? It knows that it's bad. It knows that it's bad. That's why it's good.
Like
Yeah.
Sharknado.
This movie
No, Sharknado
doesn't
is
know.
just bad. It knows it's bad, but it also is bad.
But it's entertaining.
Yes.
This movie doesn't know that it's bad.
It had Trey Songz in it, so they might have known that it was going to be bad.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, so it's basically about this girl who works at a department store, like a grocery store. She's like the butcher in the back, and she didn't know she was adopted. It's basically following the events of the original films. This girl, it's about the Sawyer clan, who killed hella people in the 70s. So this infant, decades later, she finds out that she's adopted after receiving a letter from her real grandmother. So her parents tell her not to go to Texas to go see the estate, but her boyfriend Ryan, who's played by Trey Songz, her friend Nikki and Nikki's boyfriend.
Shout out to Trey Songz.
Sponsor.
Where are you at, dog?
He needs a shout out.
Yeah.
on
Where
our,
you at,
on our
dog?
podcast with our 5 viewers that are listening.
We miss
That's
you. Where you at?
5 more people that know
We'd
about
gladly
him.
have you on the show.
Shout out to Trey Songz.
Yeah.
He might lower our ratings.
No, he's not coming on
Yeah,
now.
no, he's not coming.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sahil.
Yeah, he was gonna do
For
us
those
a
that don't
big
know-
favor.
Sahil has a big beef with Trey Songz.
Nah.
It's the biggest of
He stole your girl?
2018.
Ah,
Okay,
good
go
one,
ahead.
good one, good one.
Sorry.
All right.
It was not a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So they go to the house, and the main character Heather brought her boyfriend, her friend, and her friend's boyfriend. The friend's boyfriend stays in the house, starts stealing shit,
Nice.
and
Good
comes and gets killed by Leatherface.
Hey.
Immediately.
Yeah, like,
He's already there.
Justice.
and then
He's been waiting.
they
Just waiting.
they come back to the house. Heather's boyfriend and Nikki go off.
Dude, I don't know any of what you're
So
talking
like
about.
the main character's
I don't know who any of these
boyfriend
people
Yeah.
and the main character's best friend
Mm-hmm.
go away to hook up.
Okay.
So it got
As
real.
they do in every single horror movie.
Yeah.
Shout
There's
out,
always at least one.
shout,
hookup.
shout out Jason Voorhees.
And you know, shout out to the Texas Chainsaw like 3D film for not killing the black guy off first. So
Hey.
that was a big deal for me. I was like, word. So they go back to the house. They catch the attention of Leatherface. Heather goes into town, tells the and this is a town that's like killed these people. Like she's like reporting Leatherface, and the town's all, she will go read through all the files, finds out that the town's killed all these people, like her family, her real family. They go back to the house. Basically, at the end of the story, after her boyfriend and her best friend are already killed, she invites her. She's tied up by the police.
Okay.
Okay,
and
you
then-
don't have to get into like every detail.
No,
of the
no. I
movie.
just want to tell you this. Like, she finds out that she actually loves her cousin Leatherface.
Oh.
She loves.
Not like love, but she gives him when he's tied up by the police. She brings him her chainsaw, and he kills the police. So
Okay.
yeah,
So she frees
Yeah.
him. Plot
yeah,
twist.
she frees him.
Police.
So
Yeah.
and then she also has her real parents killed. I mean, her adoptive parents killed
By
like-
Leatherface.
by
She's
Leatherface
like, go get them.
for lying to her.
Okay.
So it was a.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
yeah,
the
nobody's
whole
gonna watch
movie.
that movie anyway.
This
Yeah, I
movie
know.
was garbage, but it was so
Shout out
gruesome
to
that it was
garbage.
cool.
Shout out to garbage.
He cut off the policeman's face at one point and wore it. He like sewed it into his own skin. That shit was pretty cool.
Look at Jesse.
What?
What are
Oh,
you doing, son?
Jesse's got sunglasses on inside.
That's mine.
Another.
Mine.
That's another pet peeve of mine.
You good?
That's about it. The movie was terrible.
Thank you.
I'll go.
It
now.
really did sound bad.
It was like the only thing I liked about it was how gruesome it was. Like he was cutting off fingers like on a chopping board, like on a kitchen chopping board, and
That's cute.
he
With a
like,
chainsaw?
No, with a knife.
It's like
One finger.
they're very fast.
He just like no, just pulls back all our fingers. Just like
It keeps
that
rolling off the table, and he has to keep picking
Bro.
it. It's like,
Damn
yeah,
it.
it's mini chainsaw. That's it. And he was like, you could see when he was like sewing the guy's face on it. He was like sewing into his skin. That shit was crazy.
That's one thing with like horror movies. I do not like gory movies.
You don't?
I don't like.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
It is not.
I
I'd
think
rather like
torture porn is not my
Saw,
thing.
like Saw,
Oh.
Texas Chainsaw. Like I've watched
That's
Texas
like-
Chainsaw, but
Like Hostel. Oh, was it Hostel?
Hostel is one of those
Hostels?
too. I think there's Hostel too.
Whatever. Yeah, those movies, and I mean, I like Saw. I like a few of the
Saw
Saws,
was
but after
good.
a while, it was just like, this is how we just destroy human bodies, and there you go. And like
all the different
what's his
ways we can
name?
think about doing
Zach
it.
was it Zach Wilde that made the Halloween movies, the new ones?
Mm-hmm. No, Rob Zombie.
Rob
that's
Zombie,
right.
that's
Zach
right.
Wilde's another artist.
Zach Wilde. They're
That's a
all white
guitarist.
guys with long hair and cool guitars.
Yeah.
Sup?
It's all the
I
same.
made a horror movie.
Metal, dude, metal.
Fucking metal, dude.
Fall Guy, dude, metal. All right, Alex,
Thank
you
you,
want to
Henry.
go?
Okay, I'll go. I thought I was gonna be the only one in like talking about a really terrible horror movie. I figured you guys were gonna pick up on like good ones, like Brett.
Are there good ones? I mean,
I think
Jaws,
there's-
is like
Have you seen it?
Yes.
No. Have you seen it?
No.
You have no opinion.
but I'm not saying
Your
I'm
opinion
not
is
saying-
invalid.
I'm really not saying it's not good. I just don't consider it like the same as like a scary movie.
All right. Well, your opinion's invalid. You haven't seen it.
But I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying it's like a critically acclaimed film.
What if
But I'm
I
not
say
calling
it's
it
good,
garbage.
but I haven't seen it? Is my opinion still not
It
valid?
is not valid.
Yeah, it's not valid.
Gosh.
I'm really referring more to like the Halloween type movies.
Yeah, I got you.
I know what you mean, but you.
But you just
want
want to be a dick about it. It's
No,
alright.
no, it's cool. You just haven't
cool.
seen it. No, it's fine. You just haven't seen it.
There's some.
But
Good,
we gonna be
there's
Go
some.
for it.
There's some good ones. I just, as a whole, my respect for the horror genre isn't as high as a lot of other people's. Just because I've seen so much crap.
Dude, a lot
Dude,
of
there's
sighing.
a lot of sighing. in
So
here.
many sighs.
going
There's a lot of
They're
salt.
sighing with all the relief in their body.
Look. Okay, I guess I haven't. So send me some good ones. Okay?
Send them
Send
to
me-
him.
Shimmy good movie.
Okay, guys. All right, so my horror movie was The Gallows. I'm sure probably
was
most of you
alright.
haven't heard of it.
It's all right. We went and saw it.
Yeah, we went and saw
We
it
didn't
together.
saw it. Oh, no.
Our producer
Goodbye,
is now
Jesse.
going to
Our
take a
producer.
shit.
Yeah, okay.
Shout
And
out
that's
to taking
him.
it.
Oh.
Shout out to taking a shit.
Jesse really did. You did a number on him on that one.
I wasn't going to talk about the plot because I don't.
Tell me. Well, no, I don't remember what that.
I don't know
Okay,
anything about
so
this movie.
I will.
It's
I will.
alright.
I'll go in a little bit of depth over it.
If you say it's all right, Tucker, I probably hate it. I'm
You're
just.
not wrong.
It's
I like a lot of
it's
things.
one of the cheesy, pretty crappy.
I feel like I've seen it. I just
horror
can't
movies.
remember. I can't put an image with
I,
it.
got
as I describe it,
gallows.
you might remember. I saw it twice in theaters.
Tucker said it's got gallows.
It does.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. We're interrupting you a lot.
You're good. It has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. The cast is Cassidy Gifford, Reese Misher, Pfeiffer Brown. There's the whole B-list cast.
Aw.
Okay.
Don't be.
Shout
mean
out to
them.
Phypher Brown.
Yeah.
Shout out to
She
B.
really-
I don't know who that
Okay.
is.
Who that
class.
is?
That was the last name you had.
Shout out to
Um,
B class actors.
yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
mean, they make movies.
Y'all need to get picked up. But it's a found footage film. It follows the same 10 little Indians / and then they were none trope where like it starts out with a group of kids and they get killed off one by one.
Yeah.
until there's
Okay.
one
I
more.
have seen this.
And
Yeah,
it
I
takes
remember.
place in a high school theater around
Yeah.
a play called The Gallows.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a noose, an ominous noose that you keep expecting someone to get hung on that doesn't really happen until the end. It's
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
yeah. There's a lot of characters, and they all mysteriously get killed off, and then, everybody dies.
Big old plot twist.
But what the interesting thing about it to me was their marketing campaign. Because do you guys remember the Charlie Charlie challenge that was huge on Twitter and Instagram? That was for this movie, and I cannot tell you enough.
Yeah.
Free advertising
Yeah.
that was amazing.
So
Yeah.
everything took off but the movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
so
much.
I
devastating.
mean, an absolutely amazing marketing plan, and so I knew that got a lot of people in there to see it.
Did it make a lot of money?
Probably.
I think it made
mean,
money
it
because people
grossed.
went to see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but after the terrible reviews came out, I'm sure it dropped off.
Yeah.
So the Charlie Charlie videos are basically it's an incarnation of the Spanish paper and pencil game called Juego de la Pierza, which is basically the pencil game.
And
Dude,
it's
what
not
now?
racist because
Because he's
Alex is
Mexican.
Mexican.
That's right.
Dude, what now? What did you say?
And basically, you just ask, like, you put the pencil on a pencil, and it creates like a little dial, and you have like a piece of paper that says yes or no, and it spins to the yes or no, and so you basically say, Charlie, Charlie, are you here?
It's just a makeshift.
I didn't even know that was for this movie. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll spin to say yes or no, and all these kids were freaked out about it. But it just started with I think it was one of the producers' kids, just doing a little video on their phone of it, and then tweeting it, and then a bunch of like the producers started retweeting it, and it got real big. Okay, just in budget of 100K, global grossed 470 million. Okay, so it did
42 million.
Okay, 42 million. I'm sorry. I saw the 47 million. I think that was for Jaws.
That was for Jaws.
Okay. So, I mean, it's pretty good. You know, it
That's
got
a-
back a
that's a
ton
lot
of its
of
money.
good.
Yeah.
But it's
That's a lot of
still
good.
not, like, great for, I guess, a lot of blockbuster horror films.
I
I,
mean-
think a lot of the found footage films too are very like easier when it comes that style.
lower budget. Plus,
You know
they
what I
saved a lot
mean?
of money on the cast,
They
I would
save
say.
a lot of money on on a lot of things. With
Yeah.
There were no extras.
That's no.
Yeah.
Not
That's,
for the most part.
that's why those movies make a lot of money is because it's all Like, there's barely.
You use one camera. There's no cinematographer. There's no
No.
director of photography. There's
Mhm.
none of that.
You could do it all on your phone if you wanted to.
Yeah, a lot of
iMovie.
people have.
Shout out.
But
Hey man, let's just go in and out of the studio while we're recording. That's great.
appreciate y'all. Anyways, I just think that the marketing campaign was brilliant for it. That's all I have good to say about it because the movie really did suck and everybody thought so.
Yeah.
But it was ingenious.
Except for Tucker, he thought it was all right.
It's all right.
My discrepancy
saw it twice.
with like the horror like category is like it's not. I just wouldn't go out of my way to see it because in an age where movie tickets are so expensive, like out of all the options I have, like when I had a movie pass, maybe I
I
would
was
go
like,
see
shout out
it.
to Movie Pass.
That's another
You
thing.
failing, miserable
never mind.
company. Screw you, HMNY. I hate you. I lost like $30 on your stock.
By the time this episode airs, MoviePass probably won't exist.
Non-existent for sure. They have less than 2 months of cash flow. Go ahead, Jesse.
I would like to make a statement. The reason why there's so many bad horror movies and why it gets a bad rap is because they're cheap to make and they make a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we
No,
were
which I
just
totally
touching on.
understand.
Okay, I'm just
Everyone
saying
likes
that-
to be scared.
I just
too.
wouldn't go out of my way to see one. Like if it's on Netflix and it looks
Yeah.
remotely appealing, yeah, I'll keep it on.
Right.
I'm not gonna go pay $12 to see
Yeah,
it.
And that's the thing is that we're living in such a saturated market where films are released every single weekend almost, and like good films, like a lot of quality films.
Multiple films a week.
Yes, and there's a lot of solid like action films, which I'm not super in love with anymore, but a lot of good dramas, like really fantastic dramas, great stories that I will definitely rather pay my money to go see than a horror movie. And that's just because like there's so many options. Horror movies end up on the back end of my list generally.
Yeah,
glad
and it was a
that-
great
next
year
to
for
rom-coms.
movies.
I'm
So,
glad that we did a whole topic on horror movies. Then.
Me too.
Yeah.
Tucker, go ahead before we close out.
Okay, so for mine, I did another found footage kind of style film. I wanted to talk about Cloverfield.
Oh,
I thought that would be a good one.
That's
to
a
talk
good.
about.
That is
a solid one.
That's a good found footage one.
I haven't
don't
seen
like,
this one.
I hate.
I haven't seen this.
You haven't seen Cloverfield?
Do you watch movies? Just so everybody
Not
knows,
horror movies.
Sahil just found out that Power Rangers is a thing.
It's good
That
too.
is so false. I just saw the trailer for the Power Ranger movie and I like forgot about it. I was like, did they ever make that movie? And they were like, yeah, they made it a year ago. And I was like, obviously it wasn't good.
Okay.
So
Anyway, Cloverfield's a great found footage film. I'm not into those, but that one's a good one.
That and
Let's
Blair
see,
Witch.
that for me though, I actually
Blair Witch
found
is amazing.
found footage films are probably one of my favorite ones. Whether it be like the Gallows style, where it's just you carrying the camera around, which is kind of which is exactly the same as Cloverfield.
Shout out to T.J. Miller for being the camera guy for that whole movie.
Really?
And then
Yeah, he was shown for 2 seconds in the film.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
But he's holding the
what's
camera.
it? Another kind of like Paranormal Activity 2, where it's kind of like found footage, but they like just like set up cameras and stuff, kind of like that too.
Or like the new Unfriended movie that's not Unfriended. It's actually
That's
really
that.
good.
I don't like that. It's
No,
like
but it's actually really good from what I
Oh, with the
understand.
guy with Harold from Harold and Kumar, that one where
Is
he's trying to find his daughter.
Is that what it is?
yeah, I think
From what I understand, the new like it's all on a.
Yeah,
Screen.
that's not. I don't think that's a horror movie. It's more of a thriller because he's
Oh.
looking for his.
that
daughter.
one
my
looks
bad.
really good actually.
I've
so.
heard really good stuff about it.
Go
from
ahead,
John's
Tucker.
podcast.
Yeah, sorry. I was actually getting into it. I forgot. I was supposed to keep talking.
We're getting off
Okay.
track.
So I'll just give like a quick synopsis. I don't even look at my notes, but just quick synopsis for those that haven't seen it. I'm not trying to spoil it, but it's a group of friends that are hanging out at a friend's birthday, or not birthday party, a friend's party that he's leaving to go to Japan to work or whatever. And they're leaving, and all of a sudden it feels like an earthquake hits, and then like shit hits the fan. Like I think the head of the Statue of Liberty comes flying through. You see it fly through, and then just slams into one of the buildings. And they see like this monster in the distance, and then one of their friends is like trapped somewhere, so they have to go and get him. So that's like the whole like set the stage for the film.
Shout out
Like,
to Statue of Liberty.
Shout out! Thank
Our
you.
Lady of
It's the
Mercy.
French, right? Thank
Yeah.
you to thanks France.
No.
yeah.
No, not shout out France.
Yeah.
Come on,
Fuck a
country.
France, you dig?
This is yours. That is your
I
ray
think
gun.
it's shared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
you're
take
right.
it.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
what I did like with some of the research that I was looking into, I didn't want to look more into the film like story itself, more of just like about how the film was made and kind of just the info behind it. So it's directed by Matt Reeves and produced by J.J. Abrams, which
Matt
everyone
Reeves
knows.
and J.J. Abrams are fantastic. Shout out to Matt Reeves and J.J.
Shout
Abrams.
out to them.
Yes.
Okay, so the idea of Cloverfield, like the monster, was given to Abrams when he was with his son in Japan. they were at a toy store, and he had like this like idea of like a Godzilla toy kind of image that hit him in the head whenever he was with his son. So he was like, "That's gonna be our monster." And so from then, he pitched the idea to Paramount Pictures, and in February 2007, they secretly greenlit it. A lot of people didn't know that it was supposed to happen. So once they greenlit it, they started working on it.
They kind of went like the Blair Witch route, where they wanted it to seem like it was real for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
or
I mean, I'm not
something.
even gonna lie. Whenever I first saw it, I was very like, what? Like, how did this? Because it was one of those like, first like found footage films that I'd ever seen. Like,
And
'cause
you were
I
a
didn't
lot
really
younger too.
I didn't even know about Blair Witch Project at like
Right.
12 years old. I didn't really like
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
But for me, like it kind of felt like whoa. Same thing like Paranormal Activity is kind of like that, but that's another thing. But
Mhm.
so the film's title, Cloverfield, is actually the name of Abrams' exit that he takes in Santa Monica to his office. So that's where the name like finally came from. And in turn, the road used to lead to the Santa Monica Airport, which originally bore the name of Clover Field as well. So we had the exit that was Cloverfield, and then the airport used to be called Clover Field. So I guess he just very simplistic way of figuring out the title
Yeah.
for his movie. The production budget was $30 million. So
Oh, wow.
they didn't spend too much in like the early 2000s when it came to getting the movie
Still for
together.
a found footage.
No, I
it
mean
is
it's.
That's
But I
really
mean,
big.
you gotta think it's J.J.
mostly
Abrams.
and the special effects and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of that money is probably JJ.
he's like, yeah, I'm that 15 million's bun.
Yeah.
How much
yeah,
did it
yeah.
make?
Also, all
Well,
those lens flares. he's
It
got
made for the film on its first day, it made 17 million on opening day,
That's pretty good.
40.1 million opening weekend, and it grossed 170 million dollars worldwide
Okay.
just in 2018. Just in 2018. And just some facts about the movie: when the actors tried out for parts, they had no idea like what it was gonna be about when they got it. Which I guess that kind of happens for most people, but a lot of people probably don't realize that when people try out for films that. Usually they're not going to give them the story of the
They
movie
audition.
first. Yeah, when they audition, they want to just see how they do in like just a scene before they actually say like, "Hey, this movie's about this."
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, I don't think they would try and like spread details
Yeah,
about
they
it.
would
but-
never get work, probably.
Oh yeah,
if they, keep
they would
doing
never
that,
get
yeah.
work. But
Just real quick, I don't think it was 2018.
2008. Oops.
Oh,
My
yeah.
bad.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Isn't there like a Cloverfield coming out this year?
There
That's
is.
what I thought.
Well, it came out 2 years ago. It was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which
Well,
I'll
the
get-
yeah, I
one,
thought there
the
was
one
I'll
on
get
Netflix
into that.
Too, that already
Yeah.
is.
there's
out.
one on
Okay.
Netflix or something too.
yeah, that's
That's
what
what
he
it
just
is.
said.
We need to stop talking.
Thanks,
over each other.
Jesse. Okay, so the film was actually a metaphor as well to 9/11. So a lot of people took that to heart. So
That's why
it took
Takes
took
place
7
in-
years later, from 2001 with the 9/11 attacks.
and that's why it takes place in New York.
in
right?
New York,
Yeah.
almost like a terroristic threat,
Mhm.
was Alien or whatever you want to call it. It made actually a lot of moviegoers sick because of
Yeah.
the
Motion sickness.
moving around.
Yeah.
A lot of people got motion sickness, like from the shaky cam style.
Mhm.
And then not all the actors actually thought the movie was going to be good. And I have a quote from the AV Club about TJ Miller. TJ Miller revealed that both he and co-star Lizzie Kaplan weren't confident the concept would pan out. Even when we were filming, I kept talking to Lizzie Kaplan, and she and I would be like, "I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this is going to be good," he said. We knew there was a buzz around it, and JJ was good at that. And as it got closer to release date, we started to watch the fan boards and hear what they had to say about everything, and it was pretty amazing. I've never seen anybody position a movie like that. And then last, the movie itself is kind of like a connection. There is a connection to 10 Cloverfield Lane, but what J.J. Abrams said, it's not like a direct sequel. It's like in the same universe, kind of like Marvel films. Like it's the same universe. Like
It's happening around the same
when it was
time.
happening, it was happening in this movie too.
Yeah.
But most of the sources I got were from Mental Floss, Wikipedia, and IMDb.
If you pause the movie at certain cuts, you can see King Kong, footage from King Kong, footage from Godzilla. Because when they cut to different scenes, it's like fuzzy or whatever. And if you pause it at the right moment, you'll see different monster movies.
The
within
last
that,
little bit of
like,
it,
hidden.
I didn't really put on here, but just for the film itself, the way that it's filmed for the story, it's filmed over the main character and the husband or wife or whatever. Their date, they filmed their first date or whatever it was. So it's filmed over that. So there's bits and pieces that play
Oh,
from
okay.
their
Yeah,
date,
yeah, yeah.
from because at the very end, well,
Yeah.
Spoiler, very end, you kind of see it ends with like one of those scenes of them on their date.
Yeah. Like
And
a
then
nice
it
moment.
ends with like, I'm trying to think what it says. It says like, help me or something at the very end. But then if you play it in reverse, it says it's still alive at the very end.
At
And
the
you're like,
very end.
At the very,
Right at
very
the
end.
At the very end. Right at the very end.
Of this
If you
podcast.
don't stop it.
All right, we're here at the end of the show. I just want to
Are
say
we?
special thanks to Kyle Khan at Kyle Khan Studios for this space that we do the podcast, and also a big thanks to All the Rest at All the Rest Music for the jingle. All right, love you guys.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Love you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.